Alright guys, we're going to go over some of the basics of a mage. This tutorial is going to assume that you've never really played a mage before, you just hit 85, so we're going to go over some of the basics. We're going to talk about Living Bomb and Fireball and whatnot, and basically just get used to your spells. So let's just go ahead and start. Living Bomb. It's a dot, it's awesome, it can crit, you don't have to stay mobile, you don't have to stay stationary, you can just run around and dot stuff up, and it's awesome. It's a really good way to keep rogues in combat or visible, unless they, of course, take care of that. But as you can see, that little icon that just came up, it's gone now, but it's called Hot Streak. Hot Streak is amazing, and I'll go into that later. This icon, it's called Impact. I'll also go into that a little bit later as well. Fireball is going to be your secondary spell. This is what they consider a spam move. The mage has a couple of spam moves. One is Scorch, which is a short spell, and one is Fireball. Fireball is going to be, depending on what you're doing, your main source of damage. It's, as you can see, it hits pretty hard. That's probably the one that most mages are going to be using during your mage career. Your instant cast is going to be called Fire Blast. Fire Blast is nice because it has a lot of useful effects, and it's got a very short cooldown. It's only got a couple seconds, and then as you can see, it's already back up. So you can use it and start. You don't have to cast it. It's automatically instant. Why can't I talk today? Okay, so we're gonna go into Dragon's Breath. Dragon's Breath is a nice cone of cold type move. It basically hits in an arc in front of you. It won't hit these three target dummies, but if I maybe go in this direction, it can hit both. There you go, it hit both there. It's kind of like a V shape, if you can imagine that. And what's nice about Dragon's Breath is that it stuns as well as can crit and cause ignites. So that is a very nice feature about it. I like it over Cone of Cold. Cone of Cold still has its use, and I will use Cone of Cold from time to time. But the reason I like Dragon's Breath is just because of the stun. If you're fighting someone and they're stunned, they might have more of a want to blow a cooldown instead of just being slowed and being annoyed. It's actually life-threatening to be stunned, so they might blow a cooldown to get out of it, and that's always an advantage. One of your staples is called Frost Nova. Frost Nova is a must-have for all mages. It freezes the victim in place and allows you to get away or just range abuse. You definitely want to take advantage of that. It's got a kind of long cooldown, so you're going to want to use that sparingly and in smart situations. One of my favorite spells is Scorch. Scorch is just awesome. If you put talents, and I'll go into the talent tree later, but if you have the right talents, it's not only mana free, but you can use it while you're moving, and that is just amazing. It's good in raids, it's good in PvP, it's good in just about every aspect. It puts a debuff on the target if you have the talents, and it's called Critical Mass, and it basically makes your fire spells crit 5% more of the time, and that's always good because you want to crit. So Scorch is a good spam spell. I like Blink. Blink is amazing. Blink is necessary. I have some talents into it right now, but Blink allows you to gain distance and move from where you were. It's not very far, but it's far enough to gain an advantage over somebody or something, or get away and maybe live. So you're going to want to learn how to use Blink. Now, Blink goes in the direction that you're facing. So if I'm running this way and I jump and spin and hit Blink, I'm going to blink in the other direction. And so that's a really good travel spell, but it's also good to fool people. So you're going to want to practice with that. Counterspell. Counterspell is another staple of mages. It's got a medium cooldown. It's not something that you can do that often, but you're going to want to use it when it's necessary. It basically silences the target. If you have a talent into it, it will silence your target for 4 seconds, and mages can wreak all kind of havoc in 4 seconds. And so you're going to want to interrupt that spell, or you can use it if you just need to shut someone up and then just, you know, maybe get a really good Pyroblast and Scorch combo in there before he can do anything about it. And as you can see, by the time he did anything about it, I've already done like 100,000 damage to him. So that's a really good spell that you're going to want to have. Polymorph, obviously, I can't polymorph these target dummies, but polymorph turns. Let's see if I'll go over to a rat or something over here. Polymorph is your crowd control spell. Mages have quite a bit of crowd control, but I'm guessing if you've leveled up to 85, you probably know what polymorph is, so I really won't go too much into it. But it's basically crowd control spell. It's a really good way to keep an enemy at bay while you know, maybe mana up or get out of there or whatever. And then last but not least is your Pyroblast. Pyroblast takes a long time to wind up, and it does almost the same damage as your Fireball. It can crit for much more, but it puts 2 dots, depending on the talents that you have in there, it puts 2 dots on the target. As you can see, it puts on critical mass, and it puts on the Pyroblast dot. Now, what's nice about the Pyroblast dot is that it can crit and cause an ignite, and so you have 3 dots going from just this one spell. Now, Pyroblast isn't something that you're just going to want to cast. Pyroblast is something that you really have to wait for Hot Streak for. I mean, I suppose you could open up with Pyroblast on an unsuspecting enemy or whatever, but you're not going to want to do that usually. You're going to want to wait until Hot Streak procs. So, I'm now going to demonstrate Hot Streak. Okay, here it is. Hot Streak. Your next Pyroblast spell is an instant cast and costs no mana. So while Hot Streak is up, you're going to want to cast it in succession with something else. So as you can see, I just launched 2 attacks simultaneously there, and that's pretty devastating. So I'll see if I can do it again here. I'm just going to cast Fireball until it procs. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to cast Fireball, and I'm going to start hitting my Pyroblast buttons, so you can see they both went at the same time. Now, this other spell right here, Impact. The next Fire Blast stuns the target for 2 seconds and spreads periodic fire effects. Now, that's good because mages have quite a lot of those. So I'm going to show you. Okay, so now we're going to learn how to spread the dots around here. So, as you can see, I'm attacking the middle target dummy only. So I'm going to put some dots on here. Let's get combustion going. I'm going to get in combat with the other guy, and then I'm going to spread my dots to him. So as you can see, I only attacked this target, but this guy is suffering from the same dots because of impact. That is extremely powerful. So that's a very good reason why you need impact and need to learn how to use it correctly. Okay, so that takes care of basically the basics. You know, you've got some other spells that you're going to use, like Molten Armor. Molten Armor causes 190 fire damage to attackers. So that's nice. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's still okay. It also increases your crit, your spell crit chance by 5%. So as you can see, I have 23% chance to crit here. Some of your staple spells, just for enhanced damage or certain situations, are going to be like Mirror Image. Now, Mirror Image is nice because it makes clones of yourself, and then when you start casting, they start casting. Mirror Image is good for a couple reasons. Number one is your threat automatically becomes 0. I think it's like -1,000,000 threat or something like that. But that's amazing, because that means you can basically just open up on somebody, and like a raid boss or whatever, and you never have to worry about getting killed. So that's always good. But you know, just be careful anyway. Let's see what else. Flame Orb. Flame Orb is also good. It's a very strategic spell. You're not going to want to just spam that every time it's up, depending on whether you're doing PvE or PvP. Obviously, if you're looking at this video, you're probably focused on more PvP. I use Flame Orb when I'm stuck in place and somebody's on me, so I have the Flame Orb doing the damage while I can't do anything else. So if I can't blink or if I can't Ice Block, then that's one of the things that I do. Ice Block, another one of your staple spells. Ice Block is amazing. It basically is your get out of jail free card. There are a couple spells that can get you out of it, but most people don't even really use those because it's just so trivial. You might as well just wait. We'll go over the advanced techniques of using Ice Block a little bit later. I'm just trying to get you familiar with the more common spells to use. You're not really going to be using Ice Lance as a Fire Mage. Blizzard has its uses, but not really as a Fire Mage. Let's see, Frost Firebolt you're not going to want to use too much. Blast Wave has several purposes. I like Blast Wave because it's a big ass AoE, which is nice. It also has a Flame Strike effect. It causes dots, it's got a really high chance to crit, and most importantly, it slows. That's right, you have several slows. It's great. If you know how to use the spell really well, you can slow an entire group of people down just with that one thing. So that's definitely something that you're gonna wanna get used to there. I highly recommend that spell. Time Warp. Time Warp is your... I'll do the effect. Time Warp, Temporal Displacement, cannot benefit from Bloodlust, Heroism, or Time Warp again. That is the debuff that it gives you. So you can only use it once every 10 minutes. Here's the actual buff. It says melee, ranged, and spell casting increased by 30%. So you're going to be casting a lot quicker, so that's your kind of time to shine there. That's when you get to do all your crazy stuff, show off on the damage meters, maybe spread your dots around a little bit. So kind of go crazy there. That's pretty much all it is. Spell Steal. Spell Steal is another good one, but it's very limited usage. Spell Steal is something that you use. You can use it in PvP or PvE. If you have, if you're fighting somebody who just keeps healing, like regenerating, like a druid or a shaman or something like that, you can basically take their hots, which is heal over time. You can take their spells and just keep it from yourself, or a lot of times there's lists on the internet, but sometimes PvE, the creatures will have really amazing spells. Like there's one creature that has a nice damage shield that it does I think 5,000 damage every second to everything around it. So if you have that on, you're just going to be killing a lot of stuff really quickly.